Hi, I'm Max.
Hi, and I'm Denise.
And welcome back to another edition of Urban Lifestyles. And as we know, summer has come to an end.
Just about, but I'm hanging on to the temperatures anyway.
Yeah, we can hang on to the temperature, but if you look at the calendar, we're officially done with summer. We've got a great show today. We're going to be talking about the fantastic Destination Smooth Jazz 5. You got an opportunity to visit with MSD and...
Yes, I did, and this is some crucial information, so stay tuned because you don't want to miss it.
Right, and we have a great interview coming up with Jasmine Gant, and we also interviewed Akram Burton about his fantastic photography presentation that he put on down at the Kentucky Center for African American Heritage. We'll take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
The morning show is the best that there is, period.
Yeah, Chap, don't you make me...
Oh, I ain't working around. We are here as usual.
That's too much. This the one.
We right here.
You wake up and catch me from 6 to 10 on your number one station for R&B, Magic 101.3.
So, Denise, you got an opportunity to catch up with MSD, and that's something we do every month. So what's going on?
You don't want to miss this. Is such crucial information. It always is, but let's just take a look. So today is another informative segment. I'm here to do MSD, and MSD does provide our safe, clean waterways for our community. Now, I'm at MSD's Central Maintenance Facility with Drainage Supervisor Kelvin Wilson. We're going to be talking about how litter and leaves can affect the stormwater drainage system. And Kelvin, welcome to Urban Lifestyles.
Thank you.
So this is pretty, I would say, interesting to me because I know that how stormwater affects our community. We need to know a little bit about what we can do. But first of all, tell me a little bit about your position that you do for this department.
Okay, I am a drainage supervisor, and daily I assign work to, I have 14 employees. And within that, we have service requests that come in. And within those service requests, those are calls that customers call in about flooding complaints, odors. And so within those service requests, I assign my employees those jobs. They can go out and provide the service for the community.
Okay, now speaking of the community and some of the concerns that you're addressing, I want to ask, what is then the stormwater drainage and how does it help residents?
So the stormwater drainage is rainwater. That's one of the services that we provide. We also provide flood protection and wastewater. But within the stormwater drainage, that's where we go out, and when the customers call in complaints, we go out, we send our catch basin trucks, which basically clean out catch basins, clean debris. And so they have a clamp that goes down in the catch basin, and it removes trash, leaves that fall from trees, and things of that nature that could potentially clog up the pipe from the water draining.
Okay, so then it helps me to understand better. I'm going to ask you, how do these catch basins get all blocked up, and how can it be prevented then?
It's simple. Catch basins get clogged up by trash on the streets. It's that time of the year where the leaves fall from the trees, and in our yards we rake up our leaves and things. Sometimes, unfortunately, we rake up our leaves and we put them out in the street sometimes. So we try to encourage our customers not to blow the leaves out in the street, because if those leaves and those trash get in the basins, it could cause flooding. And we know what flooding can do. Flooding can damage our vehicles. Flooding can injure us. You know, when we don't see where we're walking, it can injure us. So we send catch basin cleaning trucks to clean out those basins, clean out those leaves and that trash.
Okay, Okay, so when you mentioned our community and residents calling in with some concerns and maybe some issues, and you mentioned about getting clogged up, what does MSD do to get the catch basins unclogged?
We have what we call a Vector truck, and that's a truck that provides water to the basins. It's also, they have a hose on the truck, and what that hose is designed to do is the inlet pipe that comes inside the basin. We flush that pipe out. It also has a vacuum suction tube that will suction up the debris and those leaves and the trash. We also have a catch basin cleaning truck, which it goes down. It has a clamp, and it goes down in the basin, and it will clamp up the leaves or the trash to remove that, so that the flooding and the clogging will be mitigated.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. So Calvin, I was thinking when you mentioned about the catch basins getting blocked, when the catch basins are all blocked up, can it increase odors?
Absolutely. Those basins, if water's not added to those basins, the leaves are just gonna sit there, and they're gonna sit there for quite some time. And so with that not being water to the system, the odors is gonna naturally come from leaves decomposing in the basins.
And Calvin, also in your department, I know what we should do to prevent issues, but what else do you all do in regards to repairs and maintenance and so forth like that for the systems?
So sometimes the catch basins, they're older, and so a lot of the catch basins are brick. And so when those water gets in there, it weakens the integrity, and sometimes those basins begin to break down. And so what we typically do is we'll go in and we'll repair the whole basin. We'll tear out the old and we'll replace it with a whole new basin. And the structure of it will be a lot stronger than what it used to be with the older system. We also have projects that our catch basin trucks go out on monthly, and basically those projects is in a particular area. They go out and they inspect the basins to make sure that it is operating the way that it should, and we do that monthly to keep from the flooding. And if we happen to come across a basin that appears to be breaking down, then we'll report that. My employees report that to me so we can be proactive.
Calvin, tell me, is there anything else that you'd like to add, and especially for our responsibility, in the community to have prevention and to make sure that everything flows as it should?
I just encourage the community for us to be able to keep it safe and clean, just to do their part. That's how we encourage customers. We encourage the community not to throw trash in the street. If they do smell an odor, to call us, because we'll come out, and just to not blow them leaves in the basins, because that could potentially cause a big issue.
Well, as always, we learn so much from Tony and their crew. They keep the community engaged, and it's such vital information that just really helps us in our day-to-day lives.
And that's the main thing. This is essential service to our community. So learning as much as I do and having a better understanding makes me appreciate so much more of what MSD does for us in our community, and that is safe, clean waterways.
We'll take another break, and we'll be right back.
It's gonna be the morning ride. Because you won't want to get out of the car when the Streets Morning Takeover is on the Bill's #1 for hip-hop.
Early in the morning.
96.
Well, Denise, I got an opportunity to catch up with Akram Burton, who is the director of the Kentucky Center for African American Heritage and also a fantastic photographer. He was over in Africa, and this is a project that he has put together over numerous years, and the best thing to do is just take a look. We're here at the Kentucky Center for African American Heritage, and I'm here with Akram Burton, and he has put together a photographic retrospective, and it covers a time period between 1979 and 2024, and it's called Journeys in the African American Diaspora. So, Akram, first of all, welcome back to Urban Lifestylez, and tell me what made you take on this project.
Well, yeah, I just want to make one correction. It's the journeys in the African diaspora. And when I mean the African diaspora, I'm talking about all the places that Africans have migrated to, whether forced migration or volunteer migration. In this case, I focus a lot more on the involuntary migration, places like Cuba, Haiti, Barbados, Colombia, Brazil. And so that's what my focus is. And one of the things that I'm trying to do is to look at, what things have survived, what are the similarities between the various Africans in these different places. So when you go through the exhibition, you kind of see that.
So when you're talking about some of the likenesses and some of the differences, what was a couple of things that really stood out to you?
Well, food, for instance. When I went to Nigeria, my wife and I went to Nigeria. Our first trip was in 1979, and we had a favorite food there called akara, A-K-A-R-A, akara, and my wife learned how to cook that on an open fire. All right, fast forward to 2005 when we were in Brazil, and they have what you call akara J stands, where you actually can go and buy these big bun-like akaras, and they would fill them with fish. So I have a picture of her learning how to make the akara in 1976, and then also have a picture of her buying akara in Brazil in 2005.
As I look around the wall, it's a very expansive exhibit. Are there certain photographs, certain images that really resonate with you, that really, I just say, stand out for you, and it's like, that's the one?
Yeah. Well, first of all, this is just scratching the surface. I have so many images, and it was very difficult for me to make a decision on what I was going to put in the show. But if I was to talk about what my highlights were, the highlights would be, my meeting Bishop Tutu in South Africa. All right, I met him twice. We partied together because he did like to party. So, it's those kinds of things. Barbados. I went to Barbados, learned a lot about, Barbados. We hear a lot about Barbados, but we don't know about the history of resistance there. So I tried to represent that in the show. Colombia has the third largest black population outside of Brazil. Brazil has the second largest outside of Africa. All right, so these are the things that I want to, bring up. And then Cuba, it's like being in Africa. Haiti, when I was in Haiti, I often forgot that I was in Haiti. I thought I was in Africa because of the way that things are there.
Your pictures are telling a great story, and you're, sharing with the audience, some who will probably never have the opportunity to make this trip. So what are some times that the exhibit is up, and when can they get in, and different things like that?
Yeah, so the exhibit opening on September the 12th, and it will go to December the 12th. This exhibit is part of the Louisville Photo Biennial. And so we're hoping that a whole lot of people will come through. People came through for the reception last night, and it was wonderful. And we're open from 10 to 4, Monday to Friday. And we're open some Saturdays, depending on what's happening. You would have to call to find out if we're going to be open on a particular Saturday that you would like to come.
Now, is any of this work online?
Yes, it's interesting you would say that. The catalog is online, and we will be posting the link. And so people who want to see the show can come to see the show and get a free catalog, or you can go online if you don't want to come to see the show.
Well, I'm here with Martin D'Souza, and you spoke today, and you were talking about victory. And I happened to be looking around the walls as I was talking with Akram, and I noticed that you're also a part of this photographic presentation. So tell us about your talk today.
Thank you. My talk today is about presenting Benin and Ouida as a slave town, and also emphasize, highlighting the work of victory. We say walk of victory. Why? Walk of victory because of the coming back home of Afro descendants to the motherland. I initiate the walk of victory because of my dual heritage. Descendant from a slave trader and a slave. So my great-grandmother was a slave deported from Nigeria to Ouida, where she was bought by a Portuguese to serve him. And my father's side, we are slave traders. So what can we do today to reconcile ourselves with Mother Africa? I invite the Afro-descendants to come to Ouida so that we can forgive ourselves. We can share experiences, forgiveness and reconciliation.
So, Denise, it was a fantastic art exhibit. It's going to be there for some time. So if you haven't seen it, I encourage everyone to go out and see it because it just really shows you the plight and the struggles of Africans and how they've been displaced all across this country.
What I found was so captivating to me is the beauty and how he captured so much of it and just the culture throughout and the colors, and it was just awesome to me, and I just loved it all.
You owe it to yourself to take a look. We'll take another break and we'll be right back.
The Steve Harvey Morning Show is the best that there is. Period.
Yeah! Champ! Don't you make me...
Oh, I ain't working around. We are here as usual.
That's too much. This the one.
We right here.
You wake up and catch me from 6 to 10 on your number one station for R&B, Magic 101.3.
My name is Deslery Rose Van. People call me Reese. I am the Supplier Diversity and Procurement Assistant for the Louisville Water Company. When people ask me what my role is with the water company, I explain to them that I enter the contracts for the construction jobs and projects that's going on around the town, and I am over the Supplier Diversity. I'm over the Small Business Equity Program. When I interface with the public, I usually I'm explaining to them how refreshing our water is at the water company and how much work goes into keeping the water clean. To work for the company that produces the best water in the world makes me feel very proud, and I represent it very well. To be engaged with the Small Business Equity Program, you just have to go to Eventbrite first and register for a workshop if you have any questions or if you want a one-on-one meeting. But it's directed towards small businesses around the town that's mostly women-owned, minority-owned, and deal with construction. I'll tell people like myself, people of color, that are interested in working for the Louisville Water Company that it's a great place to work. It's diverse, we got great benefits. There is so many different opportunities. Longevity. Most people's been here for years.
Well, if you missed it, I don't know how you did. You had to be under a rock, but we had Destination Smooth Jazz 5 on September the 6th, and it was a fantastic evening.
It was a lot of high energy, a lot of good music, and it was just vibes.
And what we're going to do is show you and share with you some of the highlights from that event and two fantastic interviews, one with Jasmine Gent and also Julian Vaughn. Take a look.
Destination Smooth Jazz 5, we have an amazing performer on the sax, and that's Jasmine Gent. And Jasmine, welcome.
So happy to be back here in Louisville. It's so amazing and so excited for the show this evening.
I am too, because you reminded me that you were here when we had Derby City Jazz Festival at Churchill Downs, and that's been about 7 or so years ago. So here you are back again to grace the audience with your fantastic skills. So, but I want to find out a little bit about you. So one is, when did you start playing the saxophone, and how did you come to choose the saxophone?
Oh my goodness. Well, first of all, I'm so grateful to be back. And I actually started on piano. I'm from Huntsville, Alabama. And, it's churches every corner. So I started playing piano in church, went into the saxophone like 6th grade. I always say I was destined to play jazz. My name is spelled with a Z like Jasmine. So I grew up with hundreds of saxophones and saxophone CDs and players that I heard, from these records. So played in church, and then, of course, the rest is history.
So out of all the genres of music, why jazz or smooth jazz?
I come from that day and age where, you don't have a choice, So I have to say my mom brought a saxophone home one day and was like, "You're playing this." And I'm sure you never say this to your kids, but then I'm so grateful that she did. So initially I had to get used to playing it. I was playing what I had heard all these years. And I'm glad that she just kind of pushed me to do that.
You're a phenomenal performer. So next I want to ask you, what was it like when you first heard yourself on the radio?
It's surreal. I have always been a little scared to kind of get out there, and it's a leap of faith, to decide to record. And a lot of time being the only female and you're in the recording studio, sometimes it's interesting environments, it could be somebody's closet. So to do all that work in writing, and then to hear your music, I was riding in the car, I heard it on Sirius XM watercolors, and I pulled over the car and I was just like, oh my goodness, because the music really shows me myself as an artist, but I hope that it connects with others. So that was that connection.
And it definitely does. And then I also want to ask you, so now you're touring a lot and you're performing a lot. Of all the places that you've been, what's been your favorite?
Oh my goodness, that's a tough question. My favorite place, I love playing on the jazz cruise. So the smooth jazz cruise, I've played on that, and the Dave Koz cruise. But the reason why I love it, it's a party for like 7 days, nonstop music, shows. And you're on this giant ship, so nothing better than that.
And then what holds for you in the future? What's going on with Jasmine?
Oh my goodness, so many blessings. I'm grateful to teach. I have my doctorate in music education. So I teach at 2 universities currently, Carleton University in Canada, where I reside. And I also taught online, Tennessee State University. It's my alma mater. So I just hope to continue recording, traveling, playing, and teaching. That is my purpose.
It's that time. We're here with Destination Smooth Jazz 5, and I'm here with Julian Vaughn, and he is no stranger to Louisville, and no stranger in terms of working with us, because when we had our last Derby City Jazz Festival in 2019, he was one of our headliners, and he literally turned it out. So we're great to have him back in the city again. Julian, welcome back to Urban Lifestylez and to Destination Smooth Jazz 5.
Yes, glad to be back. Glad to be back.
So tell me, what's been going on and how are you keeping busy?
Well, a lot has been going on. I just completed before I got on the plane this morning, my 8th album called Follow Me. And we just released my new single called Follow Me on radio, and it's all on digital platforms. And we're working on another album once I get back home. So I got a lot going on.
So I'm going to ask you a few questions, and the idea is to see how many we can get done within 5 minutes. First of all, when did you decide, or when did you know that this was going to be your career?
I decided right before I turned 30. So actually about 28 years old, I started preparing for my breakout album to come out in 2010, which was 15 years ago. I'm showing my age.
So what do you like most about being a professional recording artist?
Most people would think it's the final product, but I enjoy the process. I enjoy the idea and starting in the head and then putting it on the strings and then putting it, recording everything from the drums, the keyboard, sax, guitar, everything. That's the process I enjoy.
Do you ever get tired being on the road? It seems like you're on the road quite a bit.
I don't say I get tired. I get tired of gotta go check a bag, gotta walk a half mile to the gate. It'd be better if I had if I had your money and get me a private jet. But that's not feasible right now. But it's cool. No matter what, I still love what I do.
What's it like having that interaction with the fans?
The fans are great. I think this genre, which is this jazz genre, I think we have some of the best loyal fans because they travel everywhere. I mean, so I've seen some fans 10 times in a year, and they just go wherever I go. So, I mean, I love them.
What is one of your most favorite songs to play?
That's probably the hardest question I've got all year. Oh, man. You know what? I don't know. I can't answer that because I've got 80-something songs out there, and I just don't have a favorite right now. I don't know.
So when you're doing a show, how do you put together a playlist? Because we know you can't get through all 80 of them in a night.
So what I like to do, I like to start my show with something upbeat, something that get your attention, and it's basically a journey. We start off here, and then we kind of go, and then we're just kind of going up like this. So at the end of my show, it's a straight party. So that's how I like to start my shows.
So if someone hasn't caught your show, where can they catch you and where are you performing next?
If you haven't caught my show, the best place to get all the information, the best place to get where I'm going to be at, what I'm doing, what I'm selling is julianvonmusic.com. That's my website. It's the best website of all jazz artists. I promise you that. And you can get my schedule, where I'm going to be, what I'm selling, and just, there's games on there. So yeah, julianvonmusic.com.
Last question. Is there anyone that you haven't collaborated with that you'd love to collaborate with?
Yes, they're on the R&B side. So I would have to say Babyface, Brandy, Raphael Sadiq. Those are the people I want to work with.
Well, Julian, great catching up with you, and thanks for spending some time with. And I have to ask, you're 6'7", 6'8". Did you play basketball back in the day?
I did play some basketball. I try not to do that now because I don't want to get hurt, and then I can't tour, and then I can't make no money. So,
so you figured out what was going to pay the most, right?
Yes, exactly.
It was a vibe. And the next one coming up, as he said, on November 22nd, you don't want to miss. Tickets are at eventbrite.com. You also can get tickets at Better Days Records here in Louisville.
And you know what? I think that's our show.
Oh, and that's our time.
And we'll see you back here next time on Urban Lifestyles. And remember to take the shot.
Bye.
Bye.